We are back behind the desk, and today I thought I'd do a bit of a video on the supplements that I take and why I actually take those supplements. Now, I thought this would be quite a useful video because I get a lot of questions regarding supplements to do with the gym or supplements to do with health, and I'm just going to cover the supplements that I take today and why I think they're best, and maybe you guys could use the information that I'm going to provide you with today and apply it into your diet. Now, I'm going to actually split this up into two parts. One about health supplements, so things like cod liver oil, glucosamine, vitamin D, all that good stuff. And then it's sports supplements as well. So I've got like protein, creatine, and pre-workout. Now, before we get started, I thought I'd just mention, before you say, what the fuck have you done with Joe? No, don't worry, this is still me. I've just had a haircut. I should have addressed it in the last video, but yeah. And you may be thinking, why the hell have I got all this sugary cereal next to me? I'm going to get into that later in the video. So as I said earlier, I'm going to be splitting this video up in two parts. And the first one, I'm going to be talking about sports supplements. And the first supplement I'm going to be talking about is protein. Now, if anybody knows me, they know I'm dairy free. So I usually have the vegan applied nutrition chocolate protein. And I'm just using this whey protein, my mate Matt's, as a bit of a visual for you guys. Now, the main reason why I actually take protein is for convenience, and it's just so easy to help me get my protein intake in. Now, if you have one scoop, it's like 25 to 30 grams, and if you have two scoops, it's 50 to 60 grams. Now, like me, I'm 170 to 180 pounds, and I eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, think about it, if I have 2 scoops of protein per day, that's 50 to 60 grams of protein. That knocks it off that 170 to 180 total and makes it a lot easier for me to eat foods and not have as much meat and protein within my meals. So it's one, cost effective, and two, it just makes it so much convenient, and I can have it on the go and things like that. So that is the main reason why I have protein. Now, because I have a vegan protein, and if any of you guys are going to have vegan protein too, I'd say to have a look at the label and look for those that have an array of protein, plant-based protein sources. Now, you want to be looking for like hemp protein, flaxseed protein, soy protein. And what this is going to do is increase the amino acid profile of that certain protein, so you're getting more bang for your buck and stimulating muscle protein synthesis better. Now, next up is creatine. Now, creatine is probably one of the most sought of and wrote about supplements within the literature, and I know lots of people will agree with me that it's probably one of the most important and best supplements you can take when going to the gym. Now, what it actually does is it aids in energy production. So when you think about A-level PE or when GCSE science, when you were learning about the energy systems, and if you remember ATP PC system, the PC stands for phosphocreatine. And this aids within anaerobic performance. So you think about it when you're in the gym and you're lifting heavy weights and you're doing your heavy set of squats or your heavy bench press or your heavy deadlifts with short amount of reps, you're not really breathing during those reps, are you? So your body's not going to have time to get the oxygen you're breathing into the muscle to provide it with the energy. So it's going to use the creatine that's stored within your muscles. Now, if you have creatine and you take creatine, that's going to make sure your muscles are saturated. So when you go and lift weights, and you take creatine and then you go and lift weights again, your muscles are going to have enough creatine in them to produce that energy during the ATP-PC system. Now, I've heard lots of things about creatine, like it makes you lose hair or it's bad for your liver and you need to cycle off creatine, all of which aren't true. Creatine is completely safe. You get it through your diet. Your body makes it itself. You don't have to cycle off creatine. You can keep on taking it and keep on taking it. But yeah, I'd highly recommend taking creatine because it is so good and you can actually feel the effects when you take it properly. But the third sports supplement I'm going to be talking about is pre-workout. Now, I don't usually take pre-workout myself. I either have a coffee or a Monster pre-workout just for that caffeine hit. And I don't know all the biological functions of the ingredients within a pre-workout, but I'm going to talk about the few of the ones that I do know. The first one being caffeine. Now, caffeine, it gets you up for your session, you get focused, you get into that zone. When you have that caffeine, you're getting pumped up and you're thinking about what you're doing and you're like, I am going to get the reps for this set. The second one I'm thinking about is arginine and L-citrulline, or L-arginine and L-citrulline. And what they do is increase nitric oxide metabolism, so they're going to vasodilate, so widen your blood vessels, so you're going to be able to get more blood to the working muscles during your gym session. So next up is the health supplements that I take. Now, all the ones that I take are in pill form, and I use these as a bit of an insurance policy. So in terms of, I eat a healthy, balanced diet first, these come second, and they just make sure I'm getting all the nutrients that I want through my diet. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is just a basic multivitamin. I have a really shit one from Poundland. If you want a good one, probably go to like Holland and Barrett or something like that. But basically a multivitamin, if I was to recommend one supplement, it probably would be a multivitamin, and it just supports everyday health, immune function, and it makes sure you're getting an array of nutrients within your diet. The next supplements I'm going to talk about are probably one of my favourite to recommend and favourite to take myself. Now, you can actually get these through the diet, but I like these so much because they have so many positive health outcomes. Like, I can't even list them all. They come from fish. They are called cod liver oils or omega-3 fatty acids. They are so good because they contain something called EPA and DHA. Now, I would try and say those, but they're huge tongue twisters and I'd probably just get twisted up. So I'm just going to use the abbreviations. But what these do is support heart health. They reduce LDL cholesterol, so the bad type of cholesterol that you have in your blood, and they promote HDL cholesterol, which is the good type of cholesterol. And what this is going to do is reduce atherosclerosis, so the buildup of fatty acids within your blood vessels, and then reduce your risk of heart disease and cardiovascular disease. Now, apart from this being good for your heart, they're very, very good for cognitive development and for your mind, and they're great for things like your joints as well. So this next one actually came about a year ago, and my friend recommended it to me because I was going to the gym, I was training really hard, my elbow started to hurt and my knees started to hurt. So I was like, oh, I'm taking cod liver oils, I'm not really sure why this is happening. And he said, oh, why don't you try taking a glucosamine sulfate? Now, what these do, they're a bit like MSM and Cronjite. They just help with your joints and they help develop the cartilage around your joints. So I started taking this, and about a month later my knees weren't hurting and my elbows weren't hurting at all. So to this day I stand by glucosamine sulfate and I take one every single day. I just feel like with the gym it's a bit of an insurance policy for my joints. The next supplement I take is in regards to me being dairy free. Now, when I cut out dairy, I cut out milk, cheese, whey products, all these things, and they are high in calcium. And that's where the majority of your calcium will come from on an omnivorous diet. Now, because I've cut them out, I'm going to supplement with calcium. I'm going to have around 700 milligrams per day. And apart from having it in fortified milks and cereals, I think it's good to supplement because it is very, very useful around your body. It is good for healthy teeth and healthy bones. It's used in muscle activation all around your body, including in your heart, and it helps your blood clot. Now, people always ask me, why is calcium always paired with vitamin D? And this is because they are a dynamic duo. And by this I mean they work together, so vitamin D will aid in calcium absorption and regulation throughout the body. Now, if you're eating a restrictive diet, so for example if you're a vegan or if you're dairy free like me, having an increased vitamin D intake will aid in calcium absorption and it will aid in the amount of calcium throughout your blood. So it's going to be good for you guys. So just leading on from that last clip about calcium, in the same tablet here I have magnesium and vitamin D. Now, I'm not really going to be touching much on magnesium, but I will explain a little bit about that in a minute. I'm mainly going to be talking about vitamin D. In this tablet there's vitamin D3, that means animal based. If you see vitamin D2, that means it's plant based. Now, the impacts that vitamin D can have on your body are great. There's so many different impacts and I can't really list them all, but the ones I know off the top of my head are improved immune function and support. That's good for healthy functions of your muscles and your bones, and it reduces things like inflammation and oxidative stress within your body. So it's going to promote that whole aging process. Now, the way you actually get vitamin D is from the sun usually, but if you live here in the UK or anywhere similar, we don't really get much sun, so we're not going to be getting much vitamin D. So they do recommend that you should be supplementing 10 micrograms of vitamin D per day, especially over the winter months, and that is for absolutely everybody. And that's how this is actually came about, that I started supplementing this. And you guys might have seen a lot of this in the media lately, vitamin D in the media with COVID-19 and things, showing its linkages with deficiency and COVID-19, but I'm not really going to get into that. But yeah, I think the benefits that vitamin D can have on your body, and especially because we don't really get much sun here, it's very good to supplement it, especially if you're living in the UK. And like I said, I was going to touch a little bit on the magnesium. Now, just be careful with magnesium, especially in tablets that contain a few vitamins and minerals like these, so calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. If you look at the back, it actually says it has 500 milligrams of magnesium per 3 of these tablets, which is 1 serving size, and that is 133% of your daily intake. Now, if you have too much magnesium, especially if you're eating meat and like red meat and things as well, you're going to be getting magnesium from that as well. You can probably end up with the shits. I know it's not good to talk about. I'm okay though, because I eat a lot of fiber, so I'm just saying, if you are taking tablets like these, be quite conscious of it, and maybe increase your fiber intake or something like that. And last but not least is a little bottle of CBD. Now, this is just a 5% CBD. I don't think it's the top strength one, I think it goes to 10%. I've only recently started taking this, and it's for a few reasons. Firstly, for like recovery purposes, and it can help your sleep. If you have like 3 drops of this before you go to bed, you're going to get a full night's sleep. So if you struggle with your sleep, that could be something you can look into. And the other reason is, if you ever feel a bit anxious or your mind's wandering a little bit, this is really good because it kind of brings you back to baseline. So I definitely recommend this if you have any of those problems. Now, I know these aren't supplements, but I thought I'd just give a bit of a special mention to fortified products. Now, forget about this being a really sugary, shitty Taste of America cereal, and just think it's a normal type of cereal like cornflakes or something like that. And this is just a regular almond milk. Now, if you forget about supplements and start with the healthy, balanced diet, if you include things like this, you're going to be getting an array of nutrients within your diet. For example, in this almond milk alone, there's vitamin B2, B12, and vitamin D. It's a source of calcium too. And then if we look in this thing, so if you look at this, you'd think really, really sugary and shitty. Fair dues, it does contain a lot of refined sugar. However, when you look at the side, it's got vitamin C, niacin, thiamine, folic acid, riboflavin, B12, B6, vitamin D, and iron. So these can be a source of nutrients, regarding you don't smash a full box in one day. So there you have it. There are all the supplements that I take on a day-to-day basis to keep me healthy and to support me in the gym. Now, I've got a few tips before we end on what I think you should do with these supplements. Now, all the health supplements, they come in pill form. If you can get them in a gel form or in a powdered form, they're going to be much more bioavailable. Now, if you think of it as a little pill, it's been crushed and compact into that pill. And when it goes into your stomach, it's going to take a long time to get digested, and it may not even get fully digested. Now, if you have it in a form of a gel or in a powder, it's going to be more bioavailable. Also, with these supplements, I think unless it states that you should take on an empty stomach, take these after you have eaten some food. And this is because of the enzyme activity within your stomach. Everything's going to be moving around, everything's going to be digesting already. So just throw these into the mix at the same time, and that's going to be good. And the last but not least, I'm going to say, do not rely on these supplements, not even protein, not even any of these health supplements, just because these should come as a bit of an insurance policy. You should eat a varied, balanced diet as it is, and these should come on top of that. So I hope this video helped, and if any of these recommendations help you, be sure to let me know. See you in the next one.